Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Go for Diamond call this evening. It is January 21st on Monday, and I love this segment because I find that this is one of the most important segments that we have in the training platform. Because when you don't have a personal why and you don't have vision in this business, it doesn't matter what you're taught. Most likely you're not going to follow through. That's why I find this segment so critical, because so many people go through life just wandering and they don't have any direction in life. So it's critical that not only are you applying this, but you're training this within your organization if you want to build a long-term business. So your personal why is what we're going to talk about this evening, and dream boards, which is critical to create so you have the vision of what you're looking to have in your life. You know, this is your dream life that you're creating.
And you know, by the way, just again as a formality here, we have an event coming on in the following weekend on the 25th and the 26th, and this is the Max Kickoff, January 25th, 26th. So if you have not had an opportunity to pre-register, don't worry about it. Show up on the Friday and the Saturday. The one thing I wanted to mention is the meal pre-registration is closed. It was actually done on Friday. We were able to get a few more this weekend, but as of today, it is closed. And if you did not buy your buffet, then you'll have to find your own way for lunch, and of course to join us throughout the course of the presentation. And next week, the training will be on attitude. So as Tammy stated, now we're doing the personal why and the dream board. And I agree with Tammy because as a matter of fact, your goals and your direction in life are critical. And by the way, if you see Transform 2014, that's because this is when we actually designed the training, and I decided to keep the format at the time that we created these trainings originally. Okay, so it's not that we're behind the ball or out of date. This training was created in 2014 at the year where we had the Transform theme for the year. So what's really important, as Tammy stated, is when you are training your downline, or if you are beginning your journey with Max International, you need to define what matters to you. Because I assure you that if you don't define what matters to you and what is important to you, when things get difficult, you will start second-guessing and questioning your motives in doing this. And that is the reason that we have this slide where obstacles are put in your way to see if what you want is really worth fighting for. So the fact here is, Tammy and I, when we started our Max business, and in fact, we literally finished writing our book on that, and it's going to be coming out very soon. There were very, very difficult moments in our lives. And the things that matters to us, that was very important to us, were very clear. And because they were clear and precise and specific, when we came across these challenges, there were not so much of challenges, but simply obstacles that we need to go around.
And if you see the visual right there, I think Chris and I have probably run over many of those cones that you see in the middle of the road for caution. And but you know what? That's part of the journey. And never beat yourself up along the way. There's so many things that you're going to learn from by, you know, just diving in and learning and growing and doing the activities. Even if you're not sure how to do them, because you're going to learn from those experiences.
Yeah, one point that Tammy, I want to add before we get to the topic of the next slide is you need to understand that obstacles are totally normal. And in fact, it's part of the learning process. Mm-hmm. It's the reason why you end up, like in myself, I was French. Well, I am French. And speaking English was not very practical for me at the beginning. I was not very clear. It took me a long time. But over time, I got better. And there's many different situations when it came to the topic of money, when it came to the topic of organizing my money, when it came to the topic of prospecting and meeting people and getting rejection after rejection after rejection after rejection. And over time, what happens is you start working on your skills to be able to overcome these challenges, which over time you become better. And this is how you end up being a leader, where in turn you can teach others to learn the process that you have gone through. But it begins with your goals and where you want to go and what matters to you. Because when you go through these obstacles, it will keep you in the game.
Yeah, so we move in the direction of our most dominant thoughts, and we all know this. What we think about expands. If you wake up in the morning and you don't start in a positive note, often it goes downhill from there. So how are you treating your business in terms of your mindset? If you set goals, do you believe you can achieve them? Are you moving towards those goals? Are you handling every obstacle along the way and with a great mindset of, you're going to get knocked down. That's for sure. You're going to hit a wall. I can promise you that. It's just the way it is. And it's part of business, and it's part of growing in life. So it's how you see it. And, you just got to get back up, and you got to find a way to get over that wall. You got to find a way to dig a hole to pass through. You got to find a way. And these are things that we've been doing over the years. And I know for sure as you grow and you get bigger in this business, trust me, you get a whole lot more challenges. But you learn so much from these challenges, and that's what makes you a greater leader.
On that note, when you hit momentum, everybody at one point will hit some kind of momentum. Momentum lasts in an average of about 18 months. And unfortunately, what happens is you will come across challenges. These challenges are going to slow down the momentum to a point where you're going to start going down until you get to the next wave. And when you go down, these are opportunities for you to reflect on, what am I doing? What can I do better? Where can I improve? And as you start asking these questions and you start reflecting on the things that you've done and the things that you've heard or seen or have learned throughout these events, and that's why it's so important to be part of events so you can hear what others are doing, then you become, you start looking at alternatives. So that's why this statement that we move in the direction of our most dominant thoughts are critical. Because if you come across a wall and you look at that wall, well, I can't climb that wall. There's a wall there. I can't go through it, right? That's the problem that usually happens when we are building our businesses, right? So look at a situation and adjust to the situation. And don't focus only on the problem, but focus on the solution. In fact, let me say that maybe you should focus 5% of your time on the problem and 95% on the solution. And always remember that what you think about will expand. If you think the products are too expensive, guess what you will get in a form of objections when you build a business. If you have a hard time, talk about the opportunity. Guess what you will have when you start prospecting and talking to prospects. Put me to the test, I'm telling you. But if you focus on the fact that this is one of the greatest opportunities, and folks, I'm not saying that just to say it and to sound good. I truly, truly believe this is one of the most amazing opportunities Tammy and I have ever came across in our life. And guess what? This is exactly what it's reflecting in our lifestyle.
So what would you attempt to do if you knew you could not fail? This quote is pretty interesting, because if you knew you wouldn't fail, you would actually go for it. And that's the truth, if people knew it. But the reality is, you're going to fail. You're going to fall. You're going to get up. You're going to fall. You're going to get up. You're going to fall. You're going to get up. And that's the reality of building a business. And yet people, if they knew they wouldn't fail, they would go for it. you know, and you are going to, and that's part of the growing process. Fail does it's not a negative thing. It's an opportunity to learn in the moment and grow from that moment. We've had many of these moments along the way, and you will too. We like to keep it real because that's what's going to get you to the levels of successes. And when your associates are going through their challenges, you're going to be able to work with them and help them through some of these challenges that are going to arise.
And this is the reason why, moving into the next slide, I'm going to get Tammy to touch on that because that was her dream board. But a lot of the things that's on her dream board, we have accomplished. Like at the time, we were diamonds, and we were diamonds for 4 years, and we were really struggling to get the crown. It was part of her dream board. It's right there on the right-hand side, right? There's a big, big diamond and a crown over it, right? We had the sign of the globe here. And there's many other things I'll let Tammy expand, but the point here is that when you start envisioning what you want and you put it on writing, in other words, do a physical dream board. And by the way, it's longer than 7 years ago, or
12.
It's more like 12 now. I mean, these obviously you can look at the date of when this training was created. So the fact here is you need to visualize, because once you start visualizing what you want, I'm telling you, your thoughts, your thought process will align with what you want. And guess what? You'll meet the right people. You'll find that you'll be in a situation aligned with what you want. Tammy and I have been working on that for years. And I remember there was a time in my life when I was building this business, and I'm sure Tammy will agree with me on this, is I used to say to her, God, for me to succeed, I got to bleed. And guess what? I bled. Because this is what I believe I had to go through. And then over time, I started going through in 2006, and so I started going through some training, personal growth. I mean, I spent a lot of time and resources on that. And I started changing my process of what I wanted. And it's really interesting, but for us to reach the level of success we had in Max, even though it was challenging, but it was honestly probably a quarter of the work that we have done from other companies where we can run 2 pennies together. And we worked way harder. So what's the difference? Well, yes, there's experience and all of that. But folks, I'm telling you, what you think about, what you focus on has a huge, huge impact on where you're going. So let's talk about dream boards.
Yeah, so it's something that we've been doing for many years. Coming into the industry, I remember when I was first brand new in the industry, I think it was 6 months in, they were creating dream boards, and I had never done that in my life. I thought it was kind of a little bit silly, not understanding the power of intention, the power of vision, the power of attraction, all of that. And so I guess it's been 18 years now we've been creating vision boards, and they keep getting bigger and better, and we're accomplishing a lot of things that we put out there because we have a target, we have a goal, we have vision, and we work towards it. And so many things has transpired, and I highly recommend to do these activities with your organization and work on them and redo them. Sometimes you put things on your vision board and a year later, you know, nothing's going on. So you have to sit back and evaluate and find out, is that true to my heart? You know, is it towards what you're passionate about? And sometimes you just redo it. So there's so many things that I've done over the years. I love doing this stuff. I love training this stuff. And right now I'm creating our Diamond Leaders Vision Board. So it's really exciting. We have a 60 Diamond Plus goal. So we're aiming towards that right now.
Here's another example of another associate that was back at, I mean, this training was done way back here, a lady by the name of Julie Pang in Singapore. And again, these are things that, you know, we've been training all over the world on. In fact, it's part of the Step Up to Silver. And this is one of the very first things that you do on the Friday. as they go through the process. Very, very important. So dream boards, folks, I cannot stress enough how important it is. You need help to visualize the things that matters to you. And folks, it's not always about money. In fact, money is never really the real reason. It's just a tool to take you to where you want to be. So you really need to focus on what matters to you. Which brings us to this slide, where you have all these different components of your life, right? You got your family life, you got your business life, you got your spiritual life, you got, there's different aspects, and you have your physical, being fit portion of your life, and you need to puzzle all of this, and sometimes we're confused. Where should we focus more of our time, right? And what's really important is that these kind of boards and trainings and mentorship, and they give you a sense of direction to help you go into the direction that you want to go, that will make you happy. Folks, remember that everybody has different goals. We all have different blueprints. Some people want different things. So everybody will be different. But what is important is, are you happy where you are? Are you happy in the direction that you're taking to go to where you're going? And start evaluating what you want. And once you got all the cards on the table, then let's start figuring out, okay, how do we get there?
So you want to be asking yourself questions when you're putting this all together, and as you're training your teams to do this. So what's important to you? And you got to take time to reflect on these things and write notes down continuously. And what are your dreams? What is something that you've always wanted and just never had the time or the resources to be able to get? So what do you want in your life? What do you want it to look like in 1 year from now, in 2 years from now, 5 years? Whatever your plan is, you need to create a plan. And what will you do with the money that you earn? Because that's the big thing. It's not, like Chris said, money's just a tool for you to have the life that you want to have. And again, take the time, write these questions down, grab your phone, take a picture of this if you're looking at the screenshot, or you'll have the PowerPoint to be able to do that. But go over this, take the time to do this. It is worth it, and then you start creating pictures, and then you put your vision together for 2019. Yeah,
I agree with Tammy on that. Take the time to plan your life. Again, this is important. What's important to you? What are your dreams? And take a piece of paper and write down anything that crosses your mind. Put them down on paper, all over the map. And then start sorting things through. What do you want out of life? What does your life look like? And then start circling the things that you wrote on that piece of paper. And once you got to figure out what really matters to you, then go online and search for these, whatever it is that you've circled that matters to you, and get these pictures, print them up and cut them, and create your dream board with that. I'm telling you that just these activities could define your future, so you can focus your thoughts on where you want to go. So take a minute to do that. This is really, really, really important. I cannot stress this enough.
And through this process, often the logical side of the brain, the analytical side of the brain will take over as you're doing this. Because I remember when I would put cars or vacations or, some of the things that we want to achieve. I remember at the very, very beginning, in my head, it was like, yeah, you can't do this. You don't have the money. You liar. This is never going to happen. You always have that logical part that wants to keep you grounded. Don't listen to that part of your brain. You want to stay in imagination, possibility. It's happening. You know it's going to happen, and you have to shut out that voice that constantly tells you who you are and what you are and tries to keep you small. You can't listen to that, or the people around you that are doing this with you. You need to stay focused, and you need to work towards your dream and put those blinders on and just move forward with it. Trust me, we know we've been through every single emotion there is in building this business.
So now that and folks, this is not a long training. but it's probably one of the most important segments, as Tammy stated, as the call started, because this training will define where you're going. Would it not be a shame for you to spend 5 to 10 years of your life doing something that is completely out of line for what matters to you? And this is what most people do. Take the time, even if it takes you a month to do. It's not going to take you that long, I assure you, but you might be busy, and I get that. But take the time to design your life by designing that dream board based on the examples I shared with you. Again, I'm going to re-edify when I shared. Put everything that comes to mind on paper. Circle what matters to you. Google search these things. Once you find the image that reflects what you want, go ahead and print it and cut and create yourself a dream board with that. Be specific, because what will happen is your dream board is the compass to this direction of where you're going in life. I cannot stress enough how important that is for you. So if you are new in this business, or you're a seasoned networker in this business, you've been around for a while, and you feel that little confused or lost, you might have done a lot of great things and great activities up to now, but maybe you need to be a bit more specific. You need your compass, and your compass is your dream board based on what matters to you. One of the things that's really, really important here is that you want to protect your dreams. Now, in a training, we have a little video segment that we have called The Pursuit of Happiness. It's a segment where Will Smith, and by the way, that's his real son here, who is acting with his father, which I thought was pretty cool, who's actually, his father was struggling to try to reach a certain goal, and it was tough. It was really tough. But what happened is his son, not really experienced so much, was playing with a basketball. And obviously the basketball was a little bit too big for him and so forth, so he had a hard time. And at one point his son just dreaming says, one day I'm going to be a pro. And his father looks at him, he says, well, you know, son, this is not our cup of tea. You know, this is not our thing. You know, our family, we don't have skills like that. And of course his son will look at the father as the father being the direction that, you know, he mentors, being mentored. I mean, it's his father, right? We can all relate to that. And if your own father tells you you can't do something, folks, this is tough. So he starts looking down, threw the ball aside, and the father just realized, oh my God, what have I done? And he looked back at his son and he says, son, do not let anyone tell you you cannot do what you want to do in life. And then his son turned around, looked at his father, and realized and understood what just happened. And folks, this happens to us every day. We have dreams, goals, things we want out of life. And there are going to be some people who are going to literally try to take that away from you. I'm telling you, you need to protect your dream at all costs.
So let's go into the everyday statement. I think it's important that we tell ourselves things every day that are going to move us towards our goals and our dreams. And I'm always saying, let's go do it. Let's go do it. Let's go do it. Anytime somebody says, well, I want to do this, I say, let's go do it. And I'm always programming myself in action, in partnership. And, you know, not even realizing it's an everyday statement. It's just how I start my day. It's what I do in my day. Is I want to help, and I want to serve, and I want to work together. I want to be partnership, and even with the prospects, you know, I'm always, you know, let's do it. And so it engages them as well. So what is your everyday statement? So the best thing to do is, obviously, your purpose is to set your attitude every single day. You are in control every single day of how you behave and what you're going to do every day. It's going to help you develop habits that will allow you to reach your goals. So are you going to start your day positive, knowing that you're going to receive some great people into your life, that have leadership skills, that are looking for opportunity? Is that what you're going to attract every day? Or are you going to have the attitude of, oh, nobody ever looks at this, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's how you show up is the result that you're going to get in every day of your life.
I totally agree with that. So what do you say to yourself is very, very important. You know, the one thing is that I found even for myself with my example earlier when I said for me to succeed, I had to believe. Folks, we often tell ourselves things that we would never tell another soul. And this is something that we need to recognize. Your everyday statement should remind you of your goals, dreams, and purpose. You need to practice on a daily basis. We'll give you some quick examples later on here. But be careful what you say to yourself. When you think nobody hears you, the most important in the world is hearing you. You. And you need to say it every day to yourself. Right? Keep it where you can see it daily. That everyday statement. It could be on your dream board. It could be something you keep in your pocket or in your wallet on a daily basis. It could be even something that is the backdrop of your cell phone or your computer, whatever matters, you know, as long as you can be in front of this on a regular basis.
So here's some examples of everyday statements that we've heard from others. So what are you going to do today? You want to get yourself moving into action constantly. You're always asking yourself, so what are you going to do today? What are you going to do today? What are you going to do in your Max business today? How many people am I going to talk to today? You've got to keep yourself, they may be questions to yourself. How many lives can I change today? That could be a statement for you. I can do this. I've done it before and I can do it again. Maybe you've had some success in the past and things have been challenged and you want to step up a bigger game, right? So you know what you need to say to yourself every day. Every single one of us are in different situations of our lives. And there's mine. Let's do it. Yeah. I'm always saying that.
You know, if I can suggest here for you here, as we obviously we're not going to do activities right now as we're heading up as we ending this call here, is you need to create your everyday statement. Maybe before you go to bed tonight, write down your everyday statement. And you know what, folks? It might evolve and change over time, and that's totally okay, but you need to start somewhere. And just spend a few minutes, and don't write, you know, a 5-line paragraph here. You need one phrase. Summarize it. Sometimes less is more. Summarize what matters to you. And work on that statement that you're going to repeat yourself on a daily basis. I am the most amazing person. Today, I'm going to have the most amazing day. Often, I wake up in the morning and say, today will be the most amazing day in my life. It's interesting, but often when I say this, and I really mean it, things happen. Things present itself. It's really, really interesting. So this is your homework, folks. Is one, we talked about, put your dreams on paper, sort them out, look for them, and build a board with that. The second one is create your everyday statement. What matters to you, what you will repeat to yourself. If you apply these things today, within the next few days, not in a month from now because you won't do it, but if you apply yourself right away and you take action on that, this could actually change your life. And when I say change your life, you may have an amazing life. It might evolve from where you are to be even better. So folks, that comes to the end of our calls. I know Tammy has her 90-day program that starts in basically 15 minutes. So we want to thank you for joining us this evening. So next week, we're going to be working on the attitude training, which is really important. You want to make sure that you are there, and not only you, but your downline will follow up so we can help them have a sense of direction for them to have the success that I know they want to have, that you want for you and for you want for your team. So folks, have yourself a wonderful, wonderful evening and have a great week.
Have a great week, everybody.
Bye for now.